So welcome back to another episode of DHamDIY. We are on another piece of property that we own, and disaster has struck, right? This is the tragedy of not having a fenced property and just leaving it. So along this right side of our property, there's an electric pole, and that's not a problem usually, right? It was like that when we bought it. However, the electric company comes in and just decimates the entire right side of this beautiful elm tree. And I'm assuming they've been doing this for years and years, but it was growing all beautiful and making this amazing canopy over this area here. And it was almost like a cave in there when you went inside of the elm tree. But they just literally slashed that entire side of the elm tree, this 100 or so year old elm tree. And a lot of the other trees, there's a bunch of smaller, maybe 4-inch diameter trees, hackberries along that right side as well, that they also just completely decimated. So I'm gonna go in there with a chainsaw and cut down a lot of those smaller hackberries. They just can't survive with the electric company, cutting them like they are. I mean, you can see where they cut these trees, probably 20 foot diagonally away from the electric pole. I don't know if they can even legally do that. Is that destruction of property? I don't know, but maybe 10 feet away from, they're literally on my property, further than the easement dictates. So, but like I said, there is no trespassing. There's not a sign, there's not a fence. They literally just drive their truck up in here and just do what they will to keep this tree away from the electric company. And to be fair, there hasn't been any improvement on this property in a very long time, so likely they hardly even know it's owned, and they're just, treating it like it was a field or something. Anyway, not too mad, but I do have to get a fence up now because of that. So that's to come, but now I'm gonna go ahead and just clear this out, and I'm gonna show you doing it. I ended up getting a chainsaw from, for free, and it's used, but it works. It's one of those poulan, or however you pronounce it. Not the highest quality, not your Stihl or whatever, but pretty nice chainsaw. So I'm gonna try that out and see how I like it. All right. So I was having some trouble in there with the a lot of trouble in there with the greenbriar. And I think it's quite obvious that I'm not exactly a logsman or a logger or anything. I don't know all the cuts and all that. I'm pretty stupid about it. And now that I got a chainsaw, I should probably look into how to properly fell trees or whatever. But these are small, even if they bonked me on the head, it wouldn't cause too much brain trauma. So yeah, all this greenbriar was just snagging me, so I was really careful about how I was coming in here. It's like a it's like a prison. Look at that. I mean, that's what I was dealing with, trying to get up in there into that greenbriar. Might I add, without any gloves. See, I'm going to keep working on it, and it's hard to see right now, but this tree was really getting choked out by all of the waterlogged soil, and I think by clearing away all of this right here, it's really going to allow airflow and dry out a lot of that moisture. The leaves of the elm tree had like some weird black spots or something that it was indicative to me of water issues, having swampy roots. And I think that's what's going on over here as well with this hackberry I just cut down. You can see the rot kind of going on. I think it's just too swampy, too wet out here all the time. Because, like I said, it was like a forest. Like water, sunlight couldn't even get in here. So I think by clear, look at this. I bet the electric company did that. Look how far away the power line is. I can understand up here and everything, but down here, really? That's just a joke to me. Anywho, wow, look at that old Dr. Pepper can. That's been there a while. Yeah, I'm gonna keep clearing this out. We don't know what we're gonna do with this property yet. We're just kind of holding on to it for a little while. Got a really good deal on it, and yeah, we might do a mushroom farm here or something. Or even build a house like later on down the road. Build another house here for renting out, something along those lines. Have to stay tuned for that. There's going to be plenty more of that down the road. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get back to it. Okay, so I got a lot of that cleared out. I just realized how much wood I'm actually going to get out of this. I think this branch here might be rotten, and it is. Well, no, I guess it's not. Well, this one was. So I got that whole chunk of stuff to worry about. Look at how thick this tree is. This is a big elm tree, and because the Dutch elm disease or what have you, they're in short supply. Let's say, right? Look at that. That is a, that's probably got to be at least 3 foot thick, if not more. I mean, it goes on, So, I think that's all I'm going to do for today here. I think I'm going to really spend my time right now fishing. All right, so I'm back, and I got my trailer. I'm going to load up all that wood I cut down, and then continue to cut down wood. There's some big trees on this property that I really probably should cut down, but I'm going to hold off on it, and I'll show you those later. Yeah, for some reason I keep coming out here in 30-degree weather, but it's the way it is, when you find time to do something, of course the weather is going to be bad, right? It's just the way it is. I mean, I'm all for getting this place cleaned up, but look at that. Look how much greenbriar and thorns this is. It's ridiculous. How you clear that out besides burning it? It goes all the way up the tree. Got some serious rot in there too. I'm gonna have to cut that out. That big old branch, maybe even that one too. And and the trees are kind of intertwined with each other as well. So I don't know. Okay, so it took me quite a bit of time, and lucky for you, this just turned into a foraging episode. Wild privet berry or border privet, blue privet, Chinese privet, some sort of privet. Edible for birds, not for humans. Supposedly people make some sort of medicine for bed sores with the flowers. Although the birds would probably really appreciate me leaving this here, I'm going to go ahead and take it. There will be things done to this property if we don't end up selling it or turning into a rent property. I could just turn this into a massive wildflower area where I can just come and skip and put my nose in buttercups if I want. So, maybe the birds will get back, some sustenance in that sense, or really just, just saw a rabbit. Yeah, they're gonna get their food, with the plants I'm gonna be planting around the area. So I'm not too. And also, so here's the deal, right? If I leave this and let it be, this will eventually die. You can see the rot and everything that was accumulating in that elm tree, and even in the hackberry that I'm cutting down, it's rotted. And why? Because the soil is so waterlogged. The soil isn't able to get its fair share of oxygen. So as a result, things are just dying and getting waterlogged and not draining properly. So, you know, me cutting this down is in fact benefiting the soil in that sense, right? So, you know, it will definitely work. It's gonna be nice, and yeah, you know, this is gonna be healthy. I'm not upset about cutting down the trees because they're gonna die anyway. You know, this needs to be cleared out so this big elm tree can breathe. Back on the property with all the wood. I'm not quite going to process it yet just because there's going to be a variety of uses for said wood. Some of it is going to go towards, you know, like a hugelkultur, burying in the raised bed. Some of it is going to go towards biochar. Some of it is even going to go to mushroom farming, hopefully, right? You know, you can buy those dowels online and impregnate freshly cut wood with mushroom, you know, mycelium or whatever. Set those up in a stack and you know, and be able to grow some mushrooms. Also, you know, I can even just use some of it for firewood. So I'm not quite going to process it yet. I'm just going to throw it all in a pile here and deal with it pretty soon. I'm trying to just really clear out that other piece of property. You know, this can wait. And on another positive note, my water's finally getting put in, so that is extremely exciting. It seems like the water main is about 4 feet underground. It's right in that hole right there that just flooded. Yeah, I think all they got, I think they already tapped it too. So all they got to do is just build me a box and, you know, and then put in the sewer, and I'm ready to build. Took them like 2 months, man, to get took them probably over 2 months to finally do this, and they said, oh, you know, it'll be 3 weeks. So, you know, I was getting on to the city about it. But yeah, we can use this time to see what the soil is like, document that, you know, and use it as a reference. You can see we have some really deep dark layer right here. And yes, this is indicative of a fire happening on the property. And I have heard about that, but I'm not going to go into any more detail about that. So this caught fire some time ago. I'd have to guess a couple of years, you know. That's definitely charcoal, which is really fantastic. I mean, right? So my soil's already been biocharred up, if you will. So we have topsoil, biochar, charcoal, previous, previous burn. And then lower than that we have, hopefully not soil compaction, but it definitely could be some soil compaction going on. Let's see here. No, it's too wet for that, but okay, so this is a sand layer. This is 100% a sand layer. And then we go down further with the clay. So okay, that's really interesting to note. About a foot down, we have a layer of completely sand mush, right? And that's probably what is doing most of the drainage for my property. And as we go further down, it just looks like it gets thicker and thicker of clay and less of organic matter. So that's really, you know, that's really interesting. Okay, beautiful. Couldn't have said it better myself. You know, that's so there is some sandy loam going on, a little bit of clay, a little bit of charcoal, a little bit of humus, some organic matter. That's good stuff, right? So I actually probably need to take these trees down eventually, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that anytime soon. Just look at them, you know. I don't even know where to start with these, really. But yeah, you can tell they're kind of getting rotted out, and eventually will probably fall. So in the event I do have a house here, you know, that's not something I want to have to worry about. But I guess do tomorrow, right? As the saying goes. JD. It seems as though the clutch has locked up on me, and I'm pretty sure it's because I was feathering the throttle so much. It was just wearing out on the clutch because I wasn't fully engaging it, and I might have actually like welded. Well, no, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on in there, but I'm gonna see if I can knock it loose with a mini sludge. Or tell you what, this is a good way to also lose the clip forever and ever. But I'm gonna go ahead and put some force on it, and then I'm going to hit it with the mini sledge and see if I can knock it off of the little ring thingy. I'm putting pressure on both sides, essentially, with the needle nose. Not quite. And this is a poulan chainsaw, right? It was free. Not really too worried if it gets ruined. And I just lost it forever. Oh no. Well, I knew that was going to happen. I mean, I can't say I didn't see it coming. Terrible if none of them are the right size. Oh dear. Oh, okay. I don't know if this is the right size, but it might work. You know, it might suffice. You know what? I like it. Yes! But that means I spent far too much money. So this one was too big. This one was, this porridge is too hot. This porridge is too cold. I also had to change it into a hat. I didn't want to be caught dead in the in the country with that silly looking beanie. You know, I don't fancy being called a Nancy, right? So, yeah, you know, you stick out like a sore thumb with that thing on. City Slicker badge of honor. Okay, that doesn't feel very secure though, so I'm going to try this. I think this might be a smaller one. This is metric, but then again, poulan doesn't sound too American to me. Let's see here. All right. I like this one better. I like that one better. I like that one better. Okay, let's pop that one off. This one seems to be smaller and more, excuse the French, but maybe skook them. All right, is it going to fit though? Probably not. I've been called a liar before. Hey! Okay, that's definitely a lot better. We're in business, and it makes that funny noise it did before. I'm gonna get this thing back and together, and then we are going to, we're gonna go and cut down that big old branch. Looks like the beginning to this piece was actually completely unrotten. But it was too low, you know, it was much too low. And as you got further down, it was pretty rotten, so it's best we took it. This might be the oldest tree in the neighborhood. Let's see here. I'm gonna try to count the rings on just this alone. We got probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, probably 20-ish. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. At least 40 or 50 years old, just this piece alone. That is incredible. So, no telling how old this tree actually is. Could be hundreds of years old, probably 200 or so, which, I mean, should be the end of the life of a tree that big, right? Oh, now the camera's getting caught in the greenbriar. Ow! Ow, my back. This is a nightmare. Okay. Nightmare, nightmare. Ow. I'm wearing a faux leather jacket too. Make matters worse. But it usually helps in the woods to like keep the thorns from going into my skin. This is definitely for the best. Nature was going to decompose these anyway, so it's better that I cut them and put them to good use, right? They're going to decompose. And I would do the mushroom farm under this elm, but the issue is I don't want the elms decomposing and making mushrooms under the elm tree, because that's going to encourage the fungal growth on the actual elm tree. I want to isolate it, or at least, you know, similar species or whatever. Do it on the other property. You know, I could farm out some mushrooms on like oak branches under this or something, but still, you know, it'd be easy to see how that could encourage yada yada yada. So, you know, the limbs are starting to get heavy when your back starts popping when you're holding them. Let the dreams of an elaborate mushroom farm be my motivation. I don't know how hard of a hardwood elm is, but it's up there. Not like an oak, or I don't know, but I'm sure it'll make great mushroom wood. Oh, this is really heavy. Probably should have just cut it and made it smaller. Oh well. Oh dear, this is heavy. Oh. Okay. Maybe not heavy so much as it is just cumbersome. You know, some of these are just really hard to pick up. There we go. But you just burn it, make a burn pile. Why don't you just burn all your wood? That's wasteful. You're letting all the nutrients escape and turn into stars, rather than going back into the soil where they belong. You know, carbon deposit, yada yada, carbon storage. The buildup of humus. It'll solve all the problems, except government. Can't solve government, but it'll make the whole world brighter. Don't burn. Don't burn. Well, burn greenbriar. Don't burn wood and, you know, other fodder. Keep it, compost it, biochar it. Don't turn it into ash, though. I know the saying, you know, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Don't listen to that. I'm no weightologist, but that's pretty good. Woo. How's it making? The back will be strong. Woo. The other one was so heavy I just had to cut it in half. I couldn't pick it up. Oh. What's interesting though is the difference in color between the two different the difference in color between here and here. There's probably 10 or 15 years on that outer lighter color growth that is a lot different from the inner growth. I don't know if the darker part is classified as old growth, and maybe it wasn't as wet back then. Possibly maybe 10 to 15 years ago there might have been maybe a big drought or something over here, and you know, it could have been one of those things, right, to where growth was slowed due to some sort of environmental factor. I think that could be easily said, you know, that an environmental factor caused some sort of slowing in the growth way back when, possibly the first 50 odd years of the tree, and then subsequently after that maybe it got flooded over here, who knows, right? Interesting to note though. Nothing left to, so we'll see. See how far we get. Almost worked. Oh no. Oh no. That's quickly. Oh no. Okay. Well, she's a little extra. Alright. I go grab it. Okay. Try that on yourself. There's no greenbriar. Good lord. Oh gosh. It's almost good. It's not. It's not good. Oh no. Let's go in there. We don't. Cut again. Here's one. I'm probably the door. Something like that big. I'm just going to now. Just goes right in. Okay, so that was a massive crash. I kind of wish I didn't do a time lapse and cut that because it was pretty phenomenal. So this massive elm piece, you can see the discoloration. I don't know if it's diseased or what, but you can see the discoloration there and also the rot. I mean, it was only a matter of time before this was inevitably rotted away. So better I cut it now. Look at that pattern though in the wood. I mean, that is incredible. It's definitely diseased with something. Dutch elm disease, I don't know. I'm no expert. But the inner bark smells amazing. You know, it's letting off this beautiful aroma. You know, I'm not too sure exactly what that's all about or why it smells so good, but it smells really sweet and almost like a mixture between. It smells like a carrot almost, like a carroty, like a really sweet carrot smell. Doesn't taste it. Doesn't taste particularly interesting, but I'm kind of torn here. I don't know if I should go ahead and lob this whole chunk off, you know, make a cut right around here, or just leave it like this, because this is rotted and I don't want it to go further into the tree. I think if I can get behind this rot, you know, deeper down in there. But it looks like it's already kind of closing it in on itself, you know. So I think that will. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I mean, look at that. That is a big, massive piece of wood there. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on cutting. I actually ran out of bar oil on the chainsaw. Didn't bring any with me either. So what did the genius think of? Canola oil. And it got me thinking, why use a petroleum-based oil when I can use something like canola oil? And it might not work as good as bar oil, but I'm also not contaminating the topsoil with petroleum-based oils. I mean, you know, I just really don't want to do that. I don't feel comfortable doing it either. So we're gonna add this in. Oh dear, it spilt a little bit, but who cares, because it is canola oil after all. What's the worst that could happen? It decomposes or something? I don't know. Alright. Hopefully this doesn't catch fire, but we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and run it. I noticed that the chain was smoking when I was cutting into that big piece, and it was getting really hot, and I was like, oh, you know, sure enough. So yeah, I'm gonna run it for a little bit and let you know what happens. It's getting dark too, so I probably won't have time to take them to the other piece of property. I'll probably just leave them here. And tomorrow I want to get some wax as well, and I want to paint that elm. I want to paint my wounds on the living elm tree, and also the wood that big old log. I want to paint the end of that with beeswax to seal it so it doesn't crack or split. I really want to use that for a woodworking project. I'm not sure what yet, but the grain is just too beautiful to not use, you know. Mushrooms can wait, right? I can use the cottonwood or something for mushrooms. But anyway. All right, that's it for today. Sun's going down. See you bright and early tomorrow. Okay, so it is day 2 of the elm tree cutting, property clearing, chainsaw fun time. Got really cold last night, and we got some frosty, icy issues going on. Not issues so much, but definitely some, you know, little Jack Frost. I don't think it was snow so much as just dew that kind of froze. Anyway, so I wanted to take this as an opportunity to check once again, you know, top layer got frost on it, right? And as we get in, I wanted to feel the temperature of this and see, okay, so the leaves seems pretty well insulated. Man, there's a lot of leaves here. This spot was pretty deep in leaf. And then we have the soil. You got to do the smell test, right? Just a real earthy smell. No, little, well, no. Yeah, no hint of anaerobic activity. So that's good. I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, it's really cold out here. Let's check inside the mulch pile as well, or inside the wood chip pile. Ooh, really cold those top few inches, but let's see if we go down. If I could survive a night buried in there or something. No, I don't see it. Ooh, you see that? Now it's all sticking together, clumping up. Interesting. Yeah, it's probably 50, 60 degrees. There's a couple inches in there. So that's, or, you know, about 6 inches down, 50, 60 degrees. So that's really good. I'm gonna go ahead and, I mean, just look at this pile. This is crazy, isn't it? How much I managed to get here. And there's big logs in there too, kind of buried in. It looks like it's all brush, but you know, you can't see the monsters that are buried in there. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get the remainder of all of that junk. Let's get to it. Sun's in a really awkward position, and just always how it is in the winter, right? You know, it's way off in the middle of nowhere, to the side rather than being up in the air. Anyway, I threw a bunch of the wood that was on the trailer over here when it was getting dark yesterday, because I didn't want to take it back to the land. I was pretty tired. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and clean up all that and all the rest of the stuff that's left on the ground. I don't want to cut with the chainsaw just yet. It's really serene, and it's like, it's not even 9 yet, so I don't want to, this is real quiet, things go a little slow down here, you can't, don't want to be up and at it too early, right? I don't want to piss anyone off. So yeah, I'm just gonna clean up all this stuff and we'll get the chainsaw going probably around 9:30 or something. That is quite the trailer full. Yeah, that was terrible. More lacerations from the greenbriar. And also, we're almost done, really. I need to do a lot more trimming up of the elm. The elm's got a lot more dead stuff, but ooh, looking really nice. I might even add a swing right there. Maybe a tire swing or something where I can enjoy myself, right? So yeah, we're gonna take all this back to the land and I'll show you some cool stuff. All right, so interesting turn of events. I ended up meeting my neighbor, and you know, we had a few beers, and he ended up giving me all this lumber for the fence, which is very interesting. I got probably enough lumber to build, you know, a pretty decent portion of this fence. I got you know, definitely some posts, some 2x6s, some really good stuff here, so that's good. Also, I'm gonna take you around here to what we got going on for the wood pile. So this elm that we've been cutting and taking, the inner circle, I originally thought it was a disease, and I was kind of wrong about that. It seems to be what's called a wetwood, like a wetwood bacterial infection or something. So the wood is waterlogged with water, and it's seeping up from the inner wood and creating some sort of weird discoloration. It's something the wood does in response to like defend itself or something. But yeah, you know, I heard it's responsible for checking in the wood as well, and it's what can cause, you know, this cracking and honeycombing, and they call it onion elm. You know, a bunch of different names for the wood delaminating in certain areas. Anyway, so I'm going to have to. I brought some beeswax with me because I was anticipating having to paint these certain parts of the elm to prevent them from laminating or delaminating. I didn't want it to dry out too fast. I want to use this wood because this wood's very, very special. I want to use this wood for something like maybe a table or a counter, or even, you know, using as blanks for a lathe and making bowls. I'm not quite sure yet, but this is very you can't make wood like this. This is something that occurs over the course of 20 years. That's invaluable to me. So yeah, I have even bigger. I have about a foot in diameter, you know, blanks that I could be using to make bowls and stuff. So that's where I'm at now with this. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take you to the other property, and we're gonna finish cutting up that elm and getting all that wood over to this property. But as you can see, so far, we have an incredible amount of wood. I mean, it's unreal. Look at this. And you know, a lot of that sure is not necessarily wood that can be used for building. You know, it might be just wood that's good for hugelkultur or for composting or whatever. But yeah, you know, really beautiful wood. I don't care if it's completely rotten. I'm going to use it either way. And having all this, I can't believe how nice my neighbor was to give me all this wood. That's one fence post right there. That's $10. You know, that's easily $10. Not 20 of them. So he saved me an incredible amount of money, and I'm completely grateful for that. Anyway, this here would be classified as wetwood, or wetwood disease, wetwood something. It's a bacterial infection that messes with trees, but it's to prevent them from further decaying, something like that. We have an incredible amount of lumber here for that. It's the wetwood diseased lumber, and it has this really interesting pattern. So we're going to coat it with wax. I got to bring it to my other property first. Once we do, I'm going to coat it with wax and keep it preserved so that I can use it for some sort of project. But look at it. I mean, it is truly beautiful. I want to clean up this cut, and I'll clean up the cut over here as well. See, the problem is, I want this tree to be able to heal, and it's not going to be able to heal with this big piece on it. that's sticking out. Or maybe it will be, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to do so. So this is diseased right here. What I want to do is cut it at an angle, lob that off, and also try to get this at an angle as well, to where water isn't coming down and sitting on this. I'd like it to be vertical if at all possible. So we're going to try and see what we can do there to prevent it from rotting the tree any further. We have to do our due diligence to keep this tree alive, being how old it is, and when something is 10 to 20 times your lifetime, you almost have a responsibility. Well, easy, right? So the wetwood disease, when I was cutting into this, actually, what was interesting to note is that it was leaking wood, or it was leaking water. It was incredibly, like, the amount of water that was leaking out of this was crazy. So that's interesting to note. There must be like waterlogged, which I was saying that from the beginning. It was diseased because of how waterlogged it is, and whether it's a disease or a bacterial infection, I'm no biologist. I don't know the ins and outs of that. However, I know that this needs to be pruned. It needs to be cut. All the diseased area, you see how it's trying to close off that right there, but it can't because there's that piece. You need to lob that off. This right here, you need to lob that off. There's some dead lumber over here, you need to lob that off. You need to lob off all that dead lumber, get it all out of there. And frankly, I'll use it to build, right? I don't have any problem with using that stuff. That's good stuff, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and film me doing that. I don't know how much I'm gonna take off today or tomorrow or what have you, but yeah. So we definitely cleared a majority of this out. Look at it. I mean, this is incredible, right? So let's all these things. The hackberries may come back, which I'm fine with. I don't really mind, especially if they're gonna send up really narrow shoots. If they're gonna send up really narrow shoots, I'll actually encourage that, which is why I didn't cut the hackberries directly at their base. I cut them a little bit higher up to encourage those shoot growths. You can do a lot of different things with the shoots, with narrow hackberry shoots. I can't remember the actual process, but like medieval Europeans and such would cut trees in a certain way, maybe a couple feet above their base, to encourage these shoots for like wattle and daub structures. And I'm not planning on making a wattle and daub structure, but I can still use those for something, whether it be like garden stakes, naming plants, or yada yada yada. I feel like it's putting to use those roots that originally had a tree, better than just cutting it and adding your potassium nitrate stump remover, to it, all that good stuff. So anyway, yeah, look how far we've gotten so far. Now we still have all this privet berry I haven't cut out, but as you walk around the corner of this property, you can see just how much work has transpired. I mean, look at that, right? That is incredible. Now we do, you can see there's some dead stuff on there, yada yada yada, we know that. But I kind of want to keep, I'm going to take a lot of this privet berry out, but I'm going to keep a little circumference there of the privet berry. One, for the birds, and two, to add a little bit of promiscuity or something, a little bit of, I like the privacy it provides, and if I'm going to end up doing a like a swing or a something along those lines, I can it's going to be a nice little privacy. Keep prying eyes away from what's going on, right? Not that I'm hiding anything, but that it's very easy to clear out if I need to, and I don't really need to yet. So why not keep the privacy and have a little swing where I can keep to myself, right? And maybe read a book or what have you. There's going to be plenty of room to end up adding a structure, maybe 20 by 50, even if I need to, which would be I don't know how many square feet, 1,200 or something. In the event I want to end up making this a rental property, I haven't quite decided on that, or if I'm just going to sell the property outright. But the option's definitely there. Let's go and get cutting and get going on that. So that might not have been the best move. Just kind of did what I could. you know, I might end up, I think, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and lob off that. But wow, you can see the beautiful color that's in this elm. Oh my, that is just incredible, isn't it? Some serious rot going on here. I mean, I could literally, yeah, it doesn't smell too good either, but yeah, I might actually have to cut that off. I might go ahead and lob off a little more just to get as deep as we can into that elm. And I have beeswax as well, so keep in mind I'm going to seal off the cambium layer to keep any insects out of it. But we're getting below freezing at night anyhow, so you know, that's going to prevent any insects from getting into that cambium layer, which is the tree's skin. You know, that's really what you have to protect. This stuff not so much important because it's the skin that is going to grow over and seal that off inevitably. So yeah, so beautiful, but we're still gonna have to keep this under wraps and do the best we can to seal this off. All right. So that sure was something else. I didn't end up thinking I was going to be taking that much off of the tree, but you know, it is what it is, right? So you can see just how much this wetwood disease or infection has taken over on the tree. Some serious decay right here. I think I got most of it though. This is only a little bit, you know, this isn't something I'm too concerned about, and that's already in the tree anyway. But I think the tree now is going to be able to, as it grows, which will take obviously a very long time, it's going to be able to encompass this and eventually close it off from foreign contaminants. And I'm completely aware of the cambium issue. You know, I do not want this cambium layer to get exposed to any insects. I think I honestly, I think I'm not going to put any wax on it. I don't know though, we'll see. I might put some wax on it. I just haven't decided yet. I don't know. I haven't decided. I don't know if I want to put wax on this yet or not, because I would rather, you know, leave this to succumb to the natural, you know, yada yada with the tree than to put something on it that will harm it. I had to take these off. You know, it was inevitable. It was either I was going to take them off or the electric company was going to saw this off and ultimately probably kill the tree. You know, their cut wasn't going to be as careful as mine. So let's go ahead and count here. This is about where the center of where this started. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 40, probably 41, 42, 43. 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Easily 60 years old just in this branch alone. And this is, I'd say from my fingertips to my elbow, even bigger than that, really. So I don't know what that is, maybe 2 or 3 feet, just this area alone. And you know, I just did my best to really clean that up and make it as, I just want this tree to kind of grow over that and pretend like nothing happened, which is probably what's going to happen, truthfully. You know, this tree is too big and too beautiful to not respect, right? So I think I did my due diligence. I think that's better than having those 2 pieces, but what do I know? You know, in time we'll see, right? I'm not going to be the owner. I'm not going to be the owner of this property forever. Somebody is going to own this after me, and there's no telling whether their intentions are going to be similar to mine. We can only hope that they will be, possibly, right? So this is the best I could do, you know, based on my knowledge. I cut off a lot of the diseased area on this piece, and I think the tree is going to be able to grow over that, you know, in due time. And you know, we got some cool pieces out of it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but we got this piece, and we got some other flakes in this piece, and also this big area here too. I need to cut this up into smaller areas, and this I'm definitely going to wax off. I don't want this checking, because that's some beautiful wood we can use. I also have to cut off a bunch of this, so yeah, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up though and put this on the trailer. Oh, that's breathing. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's terrible. That hurts. But wow, I mean, look at that. Yeah, there's some rot, you know. It might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but man, has it got some character. So my thoughts are, yes, these are going to be 200, 300 pounds a piece, but they're going to be the absolute cheapest amount of wax per piece, or what have you. If I cut this into, you know, 50-pound sections, it's going to take an extraordinary amount of wax to seal this off, and I really don't want this checking, because I just love how this looks. And you know, sure, I know 1 inch per year, or whatever the figure is. I don't care. You know, if I'm 30 years old and I finally get to use this wood, that's fine. I probably will though end up like cutting it in half or something when the shed's built, and when I have all the tools and, you know, necessities to deal with a project like this. But for now, yeah, you know, I'm not going to ruin it. You know, I'm going to do the best possible. I'm going to give it the best possible chance that I can give it to succeed. So wax will be a thing. I got, you know the rule, right? 15 minutes for each finger. Put it out as far as you can. I got about an hour and 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight before it starts getting concerningly dark. I could clean up this property more, but I think I'm going to focus on this wood, getting a small fire started, melting that wax, and curing these logs. But I got to get them on the trailer for that first. Also, I want to see if I can cut down any of these other logs. We'll see. I'm going to turn the camera off for this though, because it takes me 2 to 3 times as long to do anything while filming. I'll see you back at the other property. Okay, so to be completely honest with you, I'm just getting very exhausted. This was all I was able to get, and you're maybe wondering, hey, Dylan, what's going on with this cell phone pole? I actually found it in the corner of my property, and you know, rather than saying, I'm more of a seize the day type person. I'm not going to ask questions on why it's in the corner of my property. I'm just going to go ahead and say, ooh, cha-ching, right? So whether I cut this into 4 or 2 poles, let's see how tall this is in actuality. That's going to dictate what I can do with it ultimately. My back. Okay. So, all right. I'm about 5'9", 5'10", somewhere around there. And that's being modest, right? I'm 6 foot. So we got easily a 7 foot piece, and it is heavy. So whether that's 4 poles, 2, 1, I don't know. All I know is It's heavy. And it's also got copper on it, and I'm a big fan of copper. I used to go scrapping back in the day. Alright, so that's, what is that? Clean that up, put in some vinegar. That's Bear Bright, $1.30 or $1.80 a pound. Good stuff. Anywho, so we got this massive chunk, this massive chunk, this massive chunk. These are all the elms with the beautiful grain pattern. I'm going to go ahead and wax those up, which means I need to start a fire out here. And a lot of the material I've gathered, right, a lot of the wood I've gathered is very wet. However, I think we can manage to figure something out, right? Get some dry wood and get this wax burning. I have like a mason jar. That's about all I have as a vessel for the wax. So that's unfortunate, but I think, we'll make it work, right? So look at this, man. My neighbor, he really gave me some stuff here. He was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, you're doing a 2020 slab. You can go ahead and use this stuff right here, this wire, as like rebar, right? And I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, this is going to be incredible. I don't know how many feet this is. This is 30 or 40 feet of wire here, of really thick. I mean, gosh, this stuff isn't going anywhere, right? I mean, I don't know how much the wire this is, but this is an incredible amount of wire. So thank you. Look at all this. I mean, he saved me probably $1,000 when all said and done. All these, I don't know if these are 2x6s, 1x6s, or what, but man, they're gonna help. So he even gave me a big spool of wire here, just for who knows what, right? For whatever my heart desires. I mean, that's probably 300-400 feet of just metal, metal wire. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but I can use it to secure fences and everything. Anyway, let's go ahead and get a fire started, and let's go ahead and get these pieces off the truck and waxed.